Tales of the Caballos by William H. White. Part 4, Chapter 7, Mission of the Seven Dolores. This is another treasure story that happens to be located about a half-mile to the north of this mission. The mission is only a pile of stones now, but at one time it was a vibrant Jesuit mission located above the eastern rim of Burbank Canyon. The Mission of the Seven Gardens was its name. After visiting this site, the question is always raised: where did the Jesuits get their water? This is a real mystery. Surely the Padres didn't carry the water up by mule. The answer is always pure speculation. I believe that there were underground resources available that are no longer visible. This mission, along with 8 others, were hastily closed by the Jesuits and later razed by the marauding Indians during the 1680 Pueblo Revolt. Like the other 8 missions, it was never reopened. About 1/2 of a mile north of these ruins, I have good reason to believe that there is a substantial treasure cache buried there. In the 1950s, there is a story of a shepherd who was grazing his sheep along the eastern slopes of the Caballo Mountains. After dinner one evening, he dropped down onto a ledge to shelter from the wind while lighting a cigarette. As he hunkered down, he noticed a small opening and what could be a stairway descending into the mountain. That night, he could think of nothing else, and the next morning he decided to explore this find. As with all who live in and around this mountain, he had heard many stories of the riches that the mountain contained. After a short time, the sheepherder soon had the hole big enough to crawl into. Armed with only a flashlight, he slowly descended the stairs to the room below. He was not disappointed. In the room at the bottom of the stairs was a stack of 300 gold bars. The sheepherder examined them and then ascended back to the surface, taking nothing with him. Our sheepherder was a simple man who had lived his life quietly on the slopes of the mountain with only his sheep for company. After thinking it through, the sheepherder decided that this was not a bad life after all. He was deeply concerned that this new wealth would propel him into a life he may not like, and once committed, there would be no turning back. Why not just leave the treasure where he found it and continue on as he was before? This was a life he understood and enjoyed. Why change it now? The story became known because our shepherd loved to bend the elbow and loved equally a good story. When he would come into Hot Springs for supplies, he always stopped at the local watering hole for refreshments. The subject always came up about his treasure find, and his story never wavered. There were many who didn't believe him because they had difficulty with the fact that he just walked away from all this treasure without taking even 1 gold bar. Believe it or not, some people really are that way. We eventually located the shepherd's old campsite by the descriptions others had left and proceeded to explore the area with our electronic equipment. In a little time, we had located a cave within 10 feet of the surface and a precious metal hit at around 60 feet down. This confirmed the shepherd's descriptions. No entrance has been found at this writing, but the cave is close to the surface. This is one of the many projects we have yet to complete on the Caballo Mountains. So many treasures, so little time. The end. Up next is Part 4, Chapter 8, The Flower of Carmel Mine. Please like and subscribe. Thank you all.